This podcast may contain adult language, adult situations, spoilers, and some brief nudity, so parental guidance is suggested.
We have such sights to show you.
After about 5 minutes of this movie, you're gonna wish you had 10 beers.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Oh, well. La-di-da, la-di-da, la-la, yeah.
Welcome back to the Cinema Recall Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back here to the Cinema Recall Podcast. I am the Vern. This is Random Thoughts of a Movie Insomniac, where I review some recent movies that I just saw. And before we get to those movies, I do want to comment a little bit about the Golden Globes and the Critics' Choice nominations that just came out. Great features on there, but I'm a little bit upset that a couple movies were not even mentioned, and I'm going to pull them up right now because I've got the screener disc, thanks to A24. Bring Her Back. I think Sally Hawkins in Bring Her Back is absolutely astounded. Both terrifying and heartfelt. She deserves some major award love right there. So yeah, Sally Hawkins is just brilliant in this movie, and she deserves more love than what she's getting. I'm also kind of surprised too that Ari Aster's latest, Editon, is not being up for any awards. Nothing for Joaquin Phoenix, nothing for Pedro Pascal or for Emma Stone, or even for Ari Aster himself. I think this is a really good movie, and I think it should be talked about more. Now, I don't know if it's because Ari Aster is making fun of both the right and the left that maybe Oscar voters or Golden Globe voters or Critics' Choice Awards voters are not liking that. I don't know, but both Bring Her Back and Editon, I think, should be in the conversation more when it comes to awards, and I'm hoping that Oscar voters will vote for them. I know since I'm a part of the Minnesota Film Critics Association, I know I'm going to be putting in my votes for those movies as well as some others, but we're not here to talk about those movies. You can read my written reviews on our website, cinemarecall.net, or follow our Letterboxd page, Vern on Letterboxd. I know I have links in our link tree if you go to our Twitter page or whatnot. But anyways, let's get to some of the movies. There is a new Oscar caliber movie that's out right now. It is called Hamnet, and it's being nominated for a bunch of Golden Globes or Critics' Choice Awards. So let's just play a quick ad spot of Hamnet, and I'll be back with my thoughts.
Who are you looking for?
William Shakespeare. Experience the cinematic event.
Tell me a story.
What story would you like?
Something that moves you.
That will capture your heart and never let it go. Will you be brave?
Yes.
Will you be brave? Hamnet is not only the best picture of the year,
He lives not.
it's one of the best films ever made. Hamnet, rated PG-13 in select theaters Thanksgiving, in theaters everywhere December 5th.
All right, so Hamnet is the latest from Chloe Zhao, who also did The Eternals, and she made a movie with Frances McDormand where she's a hermit, and I can't believe I'm blanking on that name right now, and I'm sure our listeners will. I'll get to back to that name of that movie later. But Hamnet is, like I said before, it's from Chloe Zhao and screenwriter Maggie O'Falla, who also was the writer of the book Hamnet. It stars Jesse Buckley, Paul Mescal, Emily Watson, and it is essentially about how Shakespeare wrote Hamlet. All right. And he plays like this young writer, and he meets this young girl, of course, played by Jesse Buckley, and they just start this relationship, and they fall in love, and they have 2 kids. And since this is set during like medieval times, there was not so much sanitation going on. So yeah, diseases were pretty rampant, and it gets into their family, and this is a very extremely well acted movie, but it's a tough one. If you are a parent of kids, yes, this will make you cry. I'm a word right now. This will make you cry because things happen and it gets pretty rough. The acting is just really incredible. It is a somber feature. I want to say the cinematography of this one is really good. I had to pull up the name of that right now. Yeah, cinematography. Uh, Lutaza Zai. I apologize. I'm gonna mess up that name. That's really cool. Production design from Fiona Crombie. Look, this film has Oscar material all over it. All over it. And I see definitely award nominations for Paul Mescal and for Jesse Buckley. They are both incredible in this, but it is a tough watch. All right. I'm not gonna lie. It is a very hard watch. A very good movie. It's incredible. Action is great. Not one that I'm going to revisit anytime soon, just because of the subject matter. But I can definitely see this being up for a lot of awards. And yeah, that's all I can say. Well done. Just not a movie I'm going to want to revisit over and over again. But that's not to dismiss it because, yeah, it is very well done. And here's the thing, too. I've never seen Hamlet. I've never, ever, 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 ever seen Hamlet. I mean, I've seen references of it. I mean, I saw reference of it in Last Action Hero with Arnold Schwarzenegger doing his take on Hamlet. But that's really it. And I probably should watch it. There's been many adaptations of Hamlet throughout the years, but never seen it. And even though I've never seen Hamlet, I enjoyed Hamnet. All right. I would probably say out of 5 stars, it deserves, 4. It deserves all the awards it's getting. It is not an enjoyable feature that I am going to watch anytime soon. So, yeah. All right. Let's get to our next movie that's also been up for a lot of awards. And hold on here. Why is my thing doing this? Sorry about that, folks. All right. Let's do this. All right. Let's find. Where are you? Okay. All right. All right. The next one I'm going to look at right now is the movie that won the Palme d'Or at Cannes. This is It Was Just an Accident.
بالاخره گیرش آوردم.
آدم ربایی جرم کمی نیست. اونم یه مأمور اطلاعاتی. اقبال پا قشنگه. یادت اومد؟ مریض! خدا تعالی اسمش پوشم هم نخورده.
شما ببینی خودشه یا نه؟
فکر نمی‌کردم خودتو اینجوری اسیر بکنی. ببین ما قاتل نیستیم.
مطمئنی خودشه؟
نه.
دیگه پاقو را زر آورده اینجا.
5 سال صبح تا شب تو خواب و بیداری دارم با چشم بسته دست میکشم رو پات.
ماشین چه خبره؟
آقا چیز خاصی نه.
حالا که مسئله شخصی نداریم پس همتون بدونید این کثافت امروز باید حرف بزنه.
هر چقدر جلو سر بری بیشتر هم فرو میری. آخرش همتون هم غرق میشین.
من خودم زن و بچه دارم میفهمم چی داری میگی.
ببین با من چیکار کردی که صفت آشغال.
حالا میخوای چیکار کنی؟
All right. So as I said before, this was the winner of the 2025 Palme d'Or over at Cannes, directed by Jafar Panahi. It is the story of a guy who stumbles upon one of his captors while he was in jail, and he takes this guy prisoner, is about to the desert, carries him, is about to kill him, but he starts to have doubts if this is the actual captor or not. So he enlists a bunch of former prisoners and his friends to determine if this guy is the real villain or not. And this movie was good. It was good. I really wish they gave me more backstory via some flashbacks to see the atrocities that this guy supposedly did, because it is very ambiguous, and I believe the director is making it so that way. Movie stars Yahib Mobasiri, Maryam Afashari, Abraham Aziz, and the actors in this are all really good. And like I said before, it's ambiguous if you know if this guy is the bad guy or not, because at the start of the movie, we see him with his family, and he accidentally, uh, kills a dog. And when he does get captured, he talks about his daughter, and he seems like he's a legitimate family man. Like, he doesn't know anything about what happened. But these characters who are want to find out more about him and they're kidnapping him, you believe their struggle too. So it's hard to really pick sides in this movie. And I enjoy features that do that because, yeah, maybe this guy they captured, he is a prison guard that maliciously tortured and abused these people. Then again, they may be confusing him for someone else because revenge is a very slippery slope when it comes to this. And whatever they do to this guy, they cannot undo. So if they do kill him, that weight is going to be rested on their shoulders. I just wish that this movie delved more into the past about what happened. I hear them talking about it, but I wanted to see their experiences of it. So I will say this though, the movie does have a great ending because there is a particular trait of the guy that they captured that they keep mentioning. And when it does show up again at the end, it is a bit chilling because you are very unaware about what the next steps will be or what will happen. I don't want to give you spoilers here because I think legitimately it is a good movie. I don't understand so much the Palme d'Or win, but then again, Cannes have always picked kind of like unconventional features for their wins. So, I mean, of course, they did David Lynch's Wild at Heart, Pulp Fiction, Richard Leonora, and the realms of like Cannes award-winning movies. This isn't one I will want to revisit anytime soon, but it's good. I think it's been up for like best international film at Golden Globes and I think Critics' Choice Awards. So it was just an accident. It was good. So out of like 5 stars, I give it a solid like 3.5, 4 stars because it is intense. The acting is great. I just wanted something more. It's ambiguous, but sometimes it can be a little bit too ambiguous if you ask me. So overall, a little thriller. So yeah, that was it. That was just an accident. And then moving on to another award, I guess. Yeah, it's beat up for at least a couple of Golden Globe Awards. I'm gonna do the Smashing Machine. Here's the trailer.
Ready?
I think so.
Mark Kerr, a man on a mission to be the greatest fighter in the world. But with everything he's been through, can he still fight? Or will all his hopes and dreams come crashing down?
All right. So from one half of the Safdie brothers, Benny Safdie conducts the story about Mark Kerr, the very first superstar in UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championship, starring Dwayne Johnson as Mark Kerr and Emily Blunt as his girlfriend. I forgot her name already, but yeah, as his girlfriend in this. Yeah. So this movie is essentially like a docudrama, and we're following Mark Kerr. He is this wrestler who wants to become big in this new thing called Ultimate Fighting Championship, and he gets into drugs, and that affects him very much. And then he gets off of drugs, but his girlfriend isn't liking him when he's off the drugs, so she starts doing drugs, and then he gets mad at her, and then she gets mad at him for not doing drugs. That the element between Emily Blunt and Dwayne Johnson are really good, and it's great seeing these characters because she is sort of like enabling him to do drugs so that she can be mad at him for doing too much drugs, but then she does drugs too and gets upset that he's not doing the drugs and he just said at her. That element is fun, and that shows that both actors are really good. Dwayne Johnson has always been charismatic in all the films he's done, but he's never taken on a dramatic role like this before, and he's good. He's actually good. He does very well with all the cast. Like I said before, the scenes of him and Emily Blunt are really good. I just don't care about these characters. I don't. These struggles that he's going through, I just don't care. All right. He's a guy that gets so butthurt about losing. And I've never been like a big competitive person. That's probably one of my flaws, but he lost a fight and he just really just upset about it. And like it takes a good portion of the movie of him being upset and he wants to get clean. Does good with that. His girlfriend doesn't want to. The wrestling scenes are great. I think a better movie that dealt with wrestling and aging and taking care of your body and whatnot is The Wrestler. Darren Aronofsky's The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke. I think that is a way better movie that shows the wear and tear on a body, especially if you're doing this for a professional career for so very long. The fact that Mark, I think the only lesson I learned from the Smashing Machine is that Mark Kerr learns that it's okay to lose. And really, that's it. His girlfriend is toxic. Emily Blunt, as beautiful as she looks in this movie, I mean, she looks good in everything, but she looks really good in this movie. She is just a pain, all right? She is just toxic as hell, all right? And the fact that he kind of ends up with her is kind of defeats the purpose of the movie. I don't know. I think Josh Safdie has the Marty Supreme coming out this year, and Benny Safdie has this. I miss when they worked together, when they did like Uncut Gems and Good Times. So, yeah, Benny Safdie. The cinematography of this is kind of fun. It looks like a very old VHS, like one of those old VHS camcorders you had back in the 90s or so, taking pictures of stuff. So it has that kind of like graininess to it. Yeah, I want to see Dwayne Johnson in more dramatic roles because I think overall he can do the material. I can understand why he wanted to do this Match Machine because it's about a wrestler and him being a wrestler. It's a good fit, I guess, for him. So yeah, overall, I would give the Smash Machine a solid like 3, maybe 3.5 stars. It's good, but it's not one I want to revisit again. If you do check it, it's actually it's fun. It's not bad. All right, that's it right now for Smash Machine. We're going to get to our next feature. This is Eternity.
I just been reunited with both dead husbands, and I have to pick where to spend eternity.
You need to decide if it's me or if it's him. I can't fathom a scenario in which this could have gone worse.
I love you.
It just got worse.
Eternity.
Right, yes, that trailer was in French, but it's only short what I could find. So, Eternity stars Elizabeth Olsen as this woman who, after she dies, she has to pick which husband she wants to spend eternity with. Is it her current husband, played by Miles Taylor, or her first husband, who died in the war, played by Callum Turner? This is a movie that would have worked better in the 90s. All right. This has very much 90s all written over it. The premise kind of reminds me a little bit of Albert Brooks' Defense in Your Life in some ways, about people stuck in purgatory and finding love and relationships there. The chemistry between the cast are good. It's a sweet movie about, chances lost and chances to be redeemed again. Yeah, it's it's a kind of a sweet Hallmarks type of story. Elizabeth Olsen is good, but the weird thing is too is that Elizabeth Olsen, when she goes from being like an older woman to a younger person, and same thing with Callum Turner, they're both playing their characters like younger themselves. But Tyler, he's still playing the younger version as the older man that we saw in the, I would say in the before she dies. All right, he's still playing his performance as the old guy. So yeah, overall sweet movie. Divine Joy Randolph is in this. Academy Award winner Divine Joy Randolph is in this. Oh, and it has the stereotypical, you know, uh, sassy black girl best friend, because each of these characters, they have their own guides, and Miles Taylor's guide is Divine Joy Randolph, and I forget who the guy who Elizabeth Olsen is, but he's clearly a gay stereotype. All right, so this is a movie that has a lot of those like stereotypes you would see in like 90s rom com or even like early 2000s rom com. So it feels like a lost movie from that generation. Yeah, overall, it is a fine movie. As my friends from the Film Rage podcast would say, it's a meh. Yeah, it's fine. It's a short little feature. I just imagine this movie would have played a lot bigger, and it would have had a lot more like box office clout if it played in the late 90s. So Eternity, like I said, it's fine. At the most, I'll give it 3 stars. It's not a movie I hated, but it's not one that I want to see again. All right. Yeah, like this before. That's it. Now, the next movie I'm going to get to is one that I have been waiting to see for years. All right. And I do mean years. This one here. This is absolutely one that I really am excited about. Here it is. Here's a trailer for Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair.
You and I have unfinished business.
Baby, you ain't kidding.
I've killed a hell of a lot of people to get to this point. And I am gonna kill Bill.
All right. So on my birthday, I got to go to the theater with my brother-in-law and watch Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair on the big screen. And it was incredible. I've seen both volumes 1 and 2 in theaters separately, and those were fun. In fact, I rewatched those movies over and over again at times, and they are just great. But seeing them one movie and seeing the scenes where it was in black and white in volume 1 going to color when she's fighting the crazy 88s, amazing. All right, just so cool. I like the extended sequences they had for Ore and Ishii, but can see why they cut it out of the theatrical release. This is a movie, and if you've never seen Kill Bill before, I just cannot trust your taste in movies. But Uma Thurman is an assassin as the bride. She gets double crossed by her team, and then she goes after revenge on each one of them. Co-starring the late great Michael Madsen, I believe the late great David Carradine, Lucy Liu, Vivica Fox, just great action, but a lot of heartfelt emotions in this movie too. Like, I cannot watch part 1 without watching part 2, and to see them back to back was great. Now, for being like over a 4 hour and 45-minute movie, this did not seem long at all. All right. This went by extremely fast, especially after the intermission. I forgot how well the second half of this movie is edited because it is really well done. It is like a movie that's long, but you never once feel that it is. Now, I will say this. I do not want Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair, to ever come out to 4K Blu-ray or to streaming. Never. All right. And I'm hoping that Quentin Tarantino hears this. We're going to take the Church of Tarantino podcast and get this message out to him. Please let this movie only be in theaters. All right. Because I'm really sick and tired of movies coming to streaming that fast. All right. And I know people are trying to complain about it. I don't care. Shut the hell up. All right. Go to a movie and support actual real movies there. And I know people are kind of being in a little hissy fit about Tarantino's thoughts on Paul Dano. Look, I love Paul Dano. I loved him in Little Miss Sunshine, and I loved him in There Will Be Blood, and I loved him in Swiss Army Man. I think he's a really good actor. But here's the thing, folks, not everyone has to like every single actor. And I know people are saying that you could just be quiet about it, but why? You know, he is just giving his opinion about somebody. Tarantino is not saying that Paul Dano is a bad guy. He's not saying that, oh, Paul Dano does criminal activities and a horrible person. No, he's just saying Paul Dano is not a good actor. And you know what? So be it. All right. You don't need to like make posts or do this thing saying you love Paul Dano. You know what you can do to support Paul Dano? Go watch his movies. Go buy his DVDs. All right. But you just standing up for him because of what Tarantino says, it's a little bit childish, all right? But over in that right there, Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair, excellent movie. Definitely want to see it be played in theaters every couple of years, but for God's sakes, do not let this movie come to home. Like, another movie I want them to release back in theaters is Grindhouse, the double feature that Tarantino did with Robert Rodriguez with, Planet Terror and Death Proof. So, yeah, Grindhouse, be another great one for theaters. And that way, if they do Grindhouse in theaters, play more of the fake trailers that they did in that movie right there. So, that's it right now. That's all the movies that I saw for this version of Random Thoughts of a Movie Insomniac. What did you see? I want to know. Please let me know what you saw in the comments there. Tell me what you thought about what I reviewed. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. Appreciate that very much. You can check me on some other podcasts right now. I was a recent guest on the St. Paul Filmcast with Nick DePolachuk. I'm sorry, Nick, I messed up your name, but St. Paul Filmcast with Nick. That was a great conversation. Definitely check that out right there. I will post links in the show notes. And then I was a recent guest over on That's the Bomb Yo, Hell Rad Movies of the 90s with the host Jason Soto. And we talked about the film Kids, the controversial film from Larry Clark and screenwriter Harmony Korine. So check that out over at rabbitholepodcast.com. Again, I was on St. Paul Filmcast. You can find that at stpaulfilmcast.com. I'll post links to both shows in the show notes. Hi, anyways, I am Vern. Thank you very much for watching. Check out my live performance I did with my new band, Pop Shot. I've got some live videos up on our YouTube channel. I'm also going to be releasing our second episode in our De Palma December series. We're posting those again, this time on Dress to Kill with guest Jeanette Miller. All right, folks, I've said all that stuff right now. Follow us on the socials. We're on, the Twitter, and we're on the Instagram, and we're on Blue Sky. We are on Threads. Just type in your little doodly thing, Cinema Recall or Cinema Recall Podcast. We also have a Patreon page, patreon.com/Cinema Recall Pod. And we have a Buy Me a Coffee. You can find those a lot on our website, cinemarecall.net. All right, that's it. I love you all very much, and have a great weekend. Bye-bye, everybody.